Hey there. It's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Hey everybody, it's Jimmy with the API team, and I don't know about you, but our For You page has been blowing up the last week about a supposed alien invasion and military battle taking place in the skies. This comes after a web bot prediction. It was used back in 2009, and there was a correlation between Donald Trump and a podcast on Joe Rogan.
Well, yesterday was the 3rd, and there was no alien invasion, no battle in the sky, but this particular clip says 3rd/4th. So, holding out for that alien invasion today.
So I've seen some people doing a video on TikTok where they ask Alexa if there was a cube-shaped object or aliens heading towards Earth that was spotted by the James Webb Telescope. So I decided to ask Alexa, and the answer that I got from her was not what I was expecting. Here it is. Alexa, where is the cube-shaped object spotted by the James Webb Telescope?
According to the website nasa.gov, 2 cube-shaped objects have now been spotted, with one of them expected to reach Earth's orbit within 3 weeks.
What? Is that real? Like, from the NASA website? 2! And they're coming in 3 weeks!
I've shown you guys this clip before, and the reason I'm showing it again is because that was about 3 weeks ago, I think, roughly, probably. So it's an interesting correlation how they're like, oh yeah, there's aliens coming, and then suddenly they're like, hey, they're gonna be here, but then nothing happens. So,
like, I'm smart enough to know that there's not going to be a UFO battle in the sky today, but I'm mentally ill enough to be disappointed that it's not. I just don't want to go to work anymore, guys. Bye.
Yeah, pretty much, except for the work part. I love my job. You know what else I love? You guys. Thank you so much for stopping by today. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button for me, it'll really help out the channel. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Then come on back. I'm making a new episode every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also, if there's a topic you'd like me to cover, please let me know down in the comments. If you've got anything to say, let me know down in the comments. I reply to everybody. We'll have a conversation. It'll be fun.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Stephanie Quinu. We are continuing to follow some breaking news out of the Middle East. You're taking a live look right here at Beirut, Lebanon, and it is nightfall here. The latest is this. Hezbollah has fired into a disputed border zone held by Israel on Monday. This is the militants' first attack since its ceasefire with Israel that took hold last week after Lebanon accused Israel of violating the truce more than 50 times in recent days. The Israeli military said 2 projectiles were launched to a disputed Israeli-held territory known as the Sheba Farms in Lebanon, where the borders of Lebanon, Syria, and Israel meet.
I'm starting to feel like this whole ceasefire talk is just a PR stunt for our current sitting president, because everybody here is like, oh, yay, a ceasefire, yet the firing has not ceased.
Is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No, I've been very clear. The president's not going to pardon his son. It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no. And I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No. Look, the president, I could speak for the president, and he said he would not pardon his son. And I'm just going to leave it there.
He says it himself. It's in his voice. He said he came to this decision this weekend. And he said he wrestled with this. And because he believes in the justice system, but he also believes that the war politics infected the process and led to a miscarriage of justice. This is his words. I'm just repeating what the president said.
So we all know he actually did pardon his son. The man has nothing left to lose. He's not running for president again, and it's very doubtful that he will at any time in the future. And his work in politics is probably completely done. So why not? I mean, that's his son. I really don't care. I don't care. I mean, yeah, he lied. Ooh, we're surprised, right? No, not really.
Hi, I'm Admiral Rachel Levine, and we're here talking about food is medicine. I'm so excited to speak with Leah Pryor, executive chef and founder of the Culinary Medicine Program at the University of Vermont Medical Center. Tell us what people should know about your model and maybe how other medical centers could replicate your model to help people.
So when I think about how we can move the needle, I really like to think, how do we get that into the hands of the practitioner? So right now, what we are really focusing on is we're focusing on building curriculum for our School of Medicine, for our School of Nursing, as well as dietetics, health coaching, and basically any type of clinician or practitioner who can use this tool. So when I think about, plug and play programming and talking to other universities and other healthcare kind of organizations, I really see it as the way we make actual change. We have a chef educator, which I am one myself. We have a registered dietitians. We have relationships with PT and OT. And we also have a garden educator who is a horticultural therapist. So when you look at that team, you really see all the scopes that can really help people get to their optimal health. We have all of these programs like shared medical appointments where...
Did anybody else see the issues within that clip? Yeah. I don't think those are the people that should be forefronting America's health campaign. I mean, just saying.
Since TikTok is going away in January and Kim Kardashian already has me blocked, I'm just going to tell you my most tinfoil hat conspiracy theory that I've had in the last week, because who cares? This is just for entertainment purposes or whatever. But have we ever thought that maybe one of the reasons that Kim Kardashian has really leaned back into her friendship with Ivanka, because they have not been friends the entire time since they were teenagers. Every friendship that goes through ebbs and flows, right? So let's just say that what if she has rekindled this friendship because she knew some things were coming down the line, possibly from her past, that she would need to be pardoned for. We've had a lot of raids lately and a lot of people talking, a lot of chatter. And on top of that, Kanye, if nothing else, has been sued for a bunch of stuff that could maybe implicate her in something or other. Diddy is in prison. We'll see if he gets a pardon because he's friends with the president-elect who says he's a good guy. So, but, maybe that's why she did this endorsement to rehab the image of Ivanka so Ivanka could maybe start going back into fashion. And in return, maybe she'll get a pardon for something that's completely made up and not real, because this is for entertainment purposes only. I'll start folding the tinfoil hat now.
I don't follow the Kardashians. I have better things to do with my time, but I've learned quite a bit about them since I started this channel, and that is a pretty interesting theory. I'm going to keep an eye on it. If something crazy happens about her and she does get pardoned, I'm going to try really hard to remember this particular day. I'm sure I won't. I have a terrible memory, but still, that is interesting, isn't it?
Okay, so I found something really interesting while I was going through CIA.gov documents, as one does on a Friday night, naturally. And I think it may put some light on that story from the Bible where the people were supposedly turned into pillars of salt. Okay, check this out and then let me know what you think. I'm going to go over the meat and potatoes. The first part basically says, they're sending this over to the CIA, that this is what the military personnel said happened. They saw a UFO that was low flying. They shot a surface-to-air missile. It caused it to crash. And then 5 short humanoid ETs came out, or what looked like ETs, large head, large black eyes, etc. Then it goes on and states, it is stated in the testimonies by the 2 soldiers who remained alive that after freeing themselves from the debris, the aliens came close together and then merged into a single object that acquired a spherical shape. That object began to buzz and hiss sharply, and then became a brilliant white. In a few seconds, the spheres grew much bigger and exploded by flaring up with an extremely bright light. At that very instant, 23 soldiers who had watched the phenomenon turned into stone poles. Only 2 soldiers who stood in the shade were less exposed to the luminous explosion survived. The KGB report goes on to say that the remains of the UFO and petrified soldiers were transferred to a secret scientific research institution near Moscow. Specialists assume that a source of energy that is still unknown to Earthlings instantly changed the structure of the soldiers and any living organisms, having transformed it into a substance whose molecular composition is no different from that of limestone. And then at the bottom, it says, a CIA representative stated, if the KGB file corresponds to reality, this is an extremely menacing case. The aliens possess such weapons and technology that go beyond all of our assumptions. They can stand up for themselves if attacked.
This makes me feel like way back when that leaked video of the Russian woman, I think it was a woman, came out, right? She was moving objects with her mind. And then the United States government was like, oh my goodness, look at what Russia's doing. We need to do that too. Kind of feels like the same situation since it was an American CIA agent that had got this report or had heard from the KGB that this is what happened. And then the United States was like, we need to look into aliens. It feels like it was a bit of a diversion tactic to get the United States focusing on something else while Russia did whatever Russia did at that time.
Shadow people are figures you often see out of the corner of your eye. You aren't sure what you saw. It might have looked like a person, or your mind was perhaps filling in the gaps. Rarely you'll ever get a good look at them. They're pitch black with a rough humanoid form. They almost look like they're made from the shadows themselves. Some are seen as the size of a human adult, others are short like children. Some are solid black and others are smoky. They're believed to be spirits or demons, but other theories think they might be aliens or possibly native interdimensional beings. They live on the earth, walk among us, but they're able to slip in and out of different dimensions. One theory suggests that these beings might actually be your own dead spirit, watching your life play back like a movie at the moment of your death.
And you had said that about the DMT release, right? It's like you watch your life back very quickly.
Others think they're here to abduct us for some unknown reason, and those who are abducted might experience interdimensional travel, which might take an incredible toll on the human mind. If you're lucky, the paralysis will end before the shadow person can snatch you right out of your bed.
A lot of people see different things when they experience sleep paralysis, and that's a terrifying theory, that they're interdimensional beings and they're coming to take them places and stuff like that. I had experienced sleep paralysis. I talked about it before on this channel. I believe it was from like 18 to 21, something like that. And it was not fun. My sleep paralysis demon was gray aliens, and they would tinker with my insides, which is unpleasant. And it happened for a very long time. And yet I still love aliens.
Interdimensional beings are mysterious entities believed to exist in higher or parallel dimensions with the ability to influence our reality in ways that can be difficult to comprehend. Whether you view them as spiritual entities, advanced extraterrestrial beings, or something entirely different, protecting yourself from their influence requires a combination of knowledge, mental preparedness, and practical defense strategies. The first step is understanding the nature of the threat. Interdimensional beings may operate under different physical laws than our own, allowing them to manipulate space, time, and consciousness. Educating yourself about dimensional theories, such as those in quantum physics and metaphysics, can help you recognize the signs of interdimensional presence and activity. Research historical accounts of entities described as angels, demons, or spirits, as they may provide insight into how these beings manifest and interact with humans. Mental and psychic protection is another crucial element. Strengthening your mind through meditation and mental exercises can help you remain clear-headed and focused in the presence of an interdimensional entity. Visualization techniques such as imagining a protective shield around yourself are also effective in creating a barrier between you and any potential influence. Additionally, learning energy work practices such as Qigong or Reiki can help you manipulate and control your energy field to ward off negative or invasive energies. Establishing sacred spaces in your environment, such as setting up areas with protective crystals like black tourmaline or selenite, can further reinforce your defenses. These objects are believed to repel negative energies and provide spiritual grounding. On a more metaphysical level, consider employing rituals or symbols traditionally used to protect against otherworldly entities. Ancient symbols, such as the pentagram or sacred geometry, can be placed around your living space to create a protective barrier. You may also wish to learn protective rituals or prayers from esoteric traditions, such as the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, to banish unwanted interdimensional presences. In cases where interdimensional beings may be technologically advanced, consider using devices that create strong electromagnetic fields, which could potentially disrupt their ability to interact with our dimension. Having tools like EMF monitors can help detect unusual fluctuations in energy that could indicate a breach or presence. Ultimately, a multi-layered defense is the best approach. This includes physical preparation, such as staying in good health and practicing physical resilience, along with mental, psychic, and metaphysical strategies to defend against the unknown. Keep in mind that not all interdimensional beings are necessarily malevolent. However, being prepared for any eventuality ensures that you can protect yourself from influences that may be harmful or destabilizing to your life and environment.
In all fairness, I am still learning about interdimensional beings, but if some being were to come over into our dimension, I don't understand how any of those would work. And it's my brain. It's because I'm not on that level. I'm 100% certain. But wouldn't it be the same as if an intruder walked into my house and I threw crystals at him and put up a pentagram and they just go, no. I guess that's why at the end it's like you got to stay physically fit just in case you got to run. I'm still learning.
Can use a lodestone to find different energy points in the earth. They used to do magnetic healing with lodestone. There was a fellow named Burl Payne. He wrote a great book all about magnetic healing. And what you would do is you would place a magnet near the place that has a lot of inflammation, and that inflammation would begin to go away. When the polarity of the body is in balance, then you start to develop an because the polarity is not correct anymore. So they would place magnets on different parts of the body, different sides of the body, different places of the body, so that you could turn back on the polarity of that area. And that area has been disconnected because with all this toxins and chemicals, it's making the polarity shift. So you'd place that magnetic stone next to the body or in that area, and it would begin to heal. Now, you can also take lodestones or magnetite, and you could structure water. You know, a lot of people always ask me, how do you structure water? Well, lodestones can actually structure water. You can get yourself a lodestone plate, or you can make your own, and you can put your little glass of water right here on top of here, just like this, just like that. And that lodestone, while it is sitting here like this with the water on top, that will begin to structure the water because the magnetic pull or the polarity will begin to come back.
Has anybody tried that? Is it effective? Does it help the body, or is it like a mind over matter thing? But I guess if you need that particular object to make your mind heal your body, it's just a tool, right? I may have to look into that.
After more than 50 years, we have finally discovered who D.B. Cooper was. The son of Richard McCoy called the FBI last week after watching a movie about D.B. Cooper and realizing it's a lot like his dad. That's because when he was a child 51 years ago, his dad boarded a flight and went missing. Records are now showing that that flight was the same one that D.B. Cooper went on in 1974. When the FBI showed up and started asking questions, they found this parachute and thousands of crippled dollar bills like this that can't be used anymore. The homeowner said that one day 50 years ago while they were gone, this stuff just showed up in the garage and they didn't think anything of it. Coincidentally, this stuff showed up 1 week after D.B. Cooper or Richard McCoy went missing, meaning he simply stopped by his home, stashed all this stuff, and ran away to never be seen again. To this day, McCoy or D.B. Cooper has most likely passed away. He would most likely be in his 90s if he's still alive today. The FBI came out asking him to come forward and that all criminal charges are dropped, simply wanting to put an end to this case once and for all.
This information in that parachute just came out in the last week or so. That's pretty incredible evidence on this whole D.B. Cooper case, and it is believed that Richard McCoy Jr. is in fact D.B. Cooper himself.
You know, that's the right thing for the wealthiest nation in the world to do. And today, I'm announcing over $1 billion in new humanitarian support for Africans displaced from homes by historic droughts and food insecurity. We know African leaders and citizens are seeking more than just aid. You seek investment.
The people in North Carolina are in the cold with no money and houses are homeless.
Investment to trade.
Oh my God, dude.
Moving from patrons to partners.
Sick to my stomach.
To help bridge the infrastructure. By the way, when I got elected, I could never get an infrastructure bill passed.
Why is that money leaving our country? Why is our money leaving our country? Now, I understand humanitarianism and helping people that are less fortunate, but there are less fortunate people here that are getting zero help. Hello, Mr. President. You're still our president. What the hell?
Once people feel empowered and protected legally, you are going to have schools, universities, and colleges are going to say, you want to come to this college, buddy? You're going to get vaccinated. Lady, you're going to get vaccinated. Yeah. Big corporations like Amazon and Facebook and all of those others are going to say, you want to work for us, you get vaccinated. And it's been proven that when you make it difficult for people in their lives, they lose their ideological bullshit and they get vaccinated.
That's exactly what you meant when you said making it hard for people to live without getting a vaccination. You affected people's ability to work, travel, be educated, to actually flourish in American society, to self-determine, as we're all given God-given rights. Shame on you. You inspired and created fear through mass mandates, school closures, vaccine mandates that have destroyed the American people's trust in our public health institutions.
That is pretty much exactly how it went down. I mean, I got vaccinated because I was scared that my grandfather was going to pass away if I didn't. I'm going to get sick and then I'm going to get him sick. I mean, and that's pretty much how it happened. And I got vaccinated. My whole family got vaccinated and we still caught COVID. And it still ultimately, took my grandfather down another step, which led to his passing. But why? I mean, if I was going to catch it anyway, and that's what was going to happen, why did I have to go get vaccinated? Why did all of the people have to be scared and go get vaccinated? I wish I knew more at that time. I wish I did. I feel like there was some underlying thing that we haven't gotten to the bottom of yet as for why we all had to go get vaccinated. We don't know exactly what it is yet.
Ask yourself a question, is this even possible? Is it possible that X building was built in the 1890s? And they're giving us timelines like a year. It was built in a year. They want us to believe we didn't have the technology, that we were low tech, and yet we're building all of these amazing structures. This disparity between what the narrative says and what's actually there.
You have places, cities in America that look as though they were constructed in medieval Europe, when nothing was here and people showed up and just got started building from what we're told. One would assume that they would build with the means that were available to them. Wood, nails if they were lucky. What we get is this narrative that people were showing up and really making do with what they had.
What we learned about in school is there was nothing here. This land was free for the taking. The only inhabitants were wild Indians, and we built everything here. Everything you see in this country, in North America, because we're talking about Canada too, was built by us. After we got here, nothing here. But they had to change the narrative. They had to destroy the evidence.
Yeah, I'm on board this crazy train. I do believe that there was some forms of advanced technology that we're not privy to these days. I don't know if it was 1890, but I do think it's interesting how these massive buildings went up in a year, and we have a bridge that's like a mile from us, and it took 4 years to make, and it's not even a quarter mile long. Maybe it's all the regulation and the political bureaucracy crap that has to go into it now because everybody needs some money out of every single project and they need it in the right way for why ever. But a year for these massive buildings, I feel like there is definitely some kind of technology that we had that has been, kind of quietly swept under the rug for whatever reason.
Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over. Can brain scans be used to determine whether a person is inclined toward criminality or violent behavior? You will rule on that.
Because he knew that technology already existed. It was just a matter of time before they released a little bit of it and let the people develop on it to be like, oh, hey, look what you found, even though we knew about it the whole time.
Escalation has begun. Escalation has begun. The president of California's Poultry Federation is concerned about the speed of highly pathogenic avian influenza is spreading in his state. Quote, if it doesn't slow its pace in the next month, we're in serious trouble. I keep warning people. Quote, unfortunately, most of the dairies and the poultry industry is right next to each other. From Sacramento to Bakersfield, that's where we grow everything. It's going to be in the food, people. The quarantine areas are set up immediately if a dairy checked positive, and there are already 400 positive. Mateo says producers are on high alert with enhanced biosecurity measures. The veterans are waiting people that we have to look at every avenue to try and stop this disease. Reported its first case of the virus on a dairy farm in the beginning of September, has increased to 402 as of Wednesday. In the last 30 days, the USDA says 22 commercial flocks have been affected and more than 5.2 million birds have been depopulated, just in California. The escalation is here, folks. The escalation is here.
It's been a minute since we've talked about the bird flu. Apparently, it's progressing pretty well, I guess. Some raw milk was pulled off shelves. A producer in Fresno found that their supply was tainted with bird flu. So there's that. Don't drink raw milk, I guess. I'm interested to see where this goes.
Media pushes return of COVID-style lockdowns to combat rising bird flu cases. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, known as the CDC, claim as of Monday, November 18th, 53 Americans have been infected with bird flu, the majority of them reportedly coming from California. 15 states are now reported to have some sort of bird flu outbreak in cows, and 49 states with an outbreak in poultry.
I feel like that was a bit of fear-mongering. I haven't seen any COVID-style lockdowns. I haven't heard of any either. Maybe I'm not looking deep enough, but have you heard of any COVID-style lockdowns because of the bird flu?
When was somebody going to tell me that fake memory implants was actually a thing being discussed by the World Economic Forum?
It's utterly innocent that it becomes a planted memory. And so there's some really interesting research that we can plant false memories in the brain. And in a different context, one of the emerging areas that's really interesting in law neuroscience is pain detection. And once we understand the circuitries that cause pain, I guess the question is...
Okay, we're listening. Tell us, what is your question?
Could we then instill pain and use that in many coercive measures in the legal system as well?
Hold on a minute. Hold on a moment. Could we instill pain and use coercive measures? I'm sorry, but you guys can stay well away from me. I do not want any of this kind of technology anywhere near my head or my brain. But anyway, tell me, would you let them put implants in your brain? Fake memories in your mind?
Not too long ago, we talked about prisons of the future and how they want to reform these inmates in a matter of days versus years by implanting memories or these suggestions in their brain that basically inhibit those impulses to do what got them in there in the first place. That's what I think this is talking about. Now, I'm not saying that this type of government brain manipulation isn't happening because I'm crazy like that. And that seems like something they'd be doing.
If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. What I'm describing is accountability, a common sense middle.
And it's true. It's true. Obama was all about deportation. Hell, when he left office, he was known as the deporter-in-chief. But now, suddenly, Dems are getting all up in arms about Trump coming in and doing the same damn thing. Come on, people.
Okay, y'all, this is absolutely nuts. Another SA lawsuit was served at Diddy's Miami mansion, but it wasn't for Diddy. Like father, like son, I suppose, because Christian Combs is the one who was served this lawsuit. There is a woman by the name of Grace O. Marseille, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, and she worked on a yacht that was chartered by Diddy back in December of 2022. At some point while doing her job, she came across Christian Combs, who started to make very inappropriate advances towards her. Christian tried to pressure her into drinking with him, ultimately grabbing her arm, hurting her, and forcing her into a seat behind him. He asked Christian if she could return to the kitchen so she could get back to work, but Christian ignored those requests and basically forced her to take several shots of tequila, which she quickly realized were, guess what? Laced. At that point, she claims that Christian cornered her in a room and began to become physically aggressive, began taking off his clothes, exposing himself to her, and demanding that she perform certain acts on him. Now, what happened next is that another yacht employee walked into the room, which ultimately made Christian stop. Now, Grace told the captain the very next day what happened, but failed to launch an investigation. Basically, they just wrote it off that she consented to partying with the guests, even though that wasn't the case, and nothing came of it until now. Now, especially with this being Diddy's son, please drop your thoughts in the comments and hit that follow button to make sure you don't miss any updates.
All right, I said I was going to start digging into the Diddy stuff, and digging I certainly have done. There's so much. This apparently just happened recently. I guess there was a phone call where Diddy's like to his son, hey, get rid of all of the pizza boxes. And that was super suspicious, so they looked into him, and the apple didn't fall far from that tree. There's so much more. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Another shocking lawsuit has been filed against Sean Diddy Combs. This time, fashion designer Brianna Bana Bongolan has come forward with disturbing accusations.
She's saying that he dangled her over the edge of a balcony at Cassie's apartment in 2016, September 2016. So the story basically is saying that she was staying with Cassie when Diddy came over late night. At some point, he tried to grope her, and when she declined, he got super angry and allegedly held her over the balcony. Eventually, she claims that Diddy pulled her back up, and he allegedly slammed her into patio furniture, a table. So she's swinging for $10 million in damages.
Yeah, like that. That's pretty crazy. Oh man, I don't know why I haven't. I tried to steer clear of this whole Diddy thing. I didn't want to get involved in it too much. And now it's a whole new can of worms, and I'm digging down that hole.
New development in the Diddy case. This gentleman right here, Mr. Stevie Wonder, he has come forward saying that in all the times he's been to a Diddy party, he's never seen anything inappropriate.
You don't say. Had to add a little bit of levity in there. As far as Monday's psychopath, nobody even said anything, so I'm assuming nobody gets to the end of my videos, which is fine. I get it. But the answer is her son was deceased. She had unalived her son and buried him in the backyard. So the mother went out and got her son, cooked dinner, and then served him. Like she cooked him and served him, and that's disgusting. And I'm kind of glad that my psychopath friends didn't say anything, because that's freaking creepy. On that note, I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come on back in a couple days. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day. That was me yesterday. I'm smart enough to know that it's not going to happen. But my conspiracy brain doesn't care about the smart side. Are we all feeling that way? I mean, I have today off, luckily. Yesterday, I still worked, and yesterday was the day. So, yesterday was the 3rd. Nothing happened. But this particular thing, the caption says 3rd or the 4th, so holding out for alien invasion tonight.